Okay, so what is Conception X? Conception X is a venture program and a platform that helps PhD students launch deep technology startups based on their PhD research. We define deep technology as a technology that's based on meaningful scientific discovery with some level of R&D risk. So things that are off the shelf are not deep technology, and things that take some time to develop in the lab, whether it's quantum applications or new materials, that would count as that. In Conception X, we have a novel approach in that we take PhD students whilst they're still in their degree, and we help them launch these companies without them stopping or pausing their studies. So they work with their colleagues in the labs that they have to turn what they're researching into a product or a service that will become a startup. Conception X initially launched in University College London as a pilot in 2018, but then we spun it out as an independent not-for-profit, and we have been running for 4 years now. I think 250 PhD teams have gone through Conception X. Of those, around 40% have built startups. And the nice thing is that those who haven't built startups have gone back to the lab with more skills about commercialization and gotten more access to grants or joined other jobs that they wouldn't have otherwise as academics. And I think it's wonderful to see how people are working with the universities to launch these companies that have a tremendous impact on the world. I think the first thing to say about the higher educational landscape across Europe is that Europe and the EU has some of the best R&D in the world. The potential that's latent inside the universities is massive. And I think the roles of universities is slowly evolving and changing as, an ecosystem to spread knowledge and solve global problems. So whilst there are still some hurdles and difficulties in spinning out research across some universities, I think overall there is some progress in making sure that the research that the EU has invested in actually makes it out to become impactful products and services. Across the UK, there is a lot of variation in that regard as well, also with regard to how intellectual property is treated in a PhD student and who it belongs to. But I think we're all learning together how to make this faster and more efficient, whilst at the same time protecting everybody who's involved. First of all, we don't call them crazy. They're all our cohorts, and I think the more wonderful things they're working on, the better. The nice thing about Conception X is that we take risky projects that wouldn't necessarily have place in a more classical incubator type thing that makes you do something in 3 months. So a few examples come to mind. On this newest cohort, so in the 5th cohort, we have a UCL PhD student working on new architectural materials of the future. So these are photosynthetic engineered living materials that are going to be the building blocks of new buildings. And the point is that it's kind of crazy to think about it now, but in the future, the buildings themselves will be living organisms so that they're carbon neutral and that they contribute to the safety of the environment as well. So that's kind of science fiction-y and very, very beautiful.